Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Stews here, and welcome back to another movie review. And today I'm gonna be doing a review on Transformers: Rise of the Beast. So Transformers: Rise of the Beast is the latest installment in the Transformers franchise and the follow-up to Bumblebee, and is directed by Stephen Cable Jr., the same director as Creed 2, and stars Anthony Ramos, Dominic Fishback, Luna Lauren Villas, Dean Scott Vasquez, um, Pete Davidson, Peter Keelan, Ron Perlman, Peter Dinklage, Michelle Yeoh, Liza Koshy, John DiMago, etc. So Transformers: Rise of the Beast tells a story taking place in 1994, a few years after the events of Bumblebee, where pretty much the Transformers, the Autobots and the Maximals must work together to be able to find the hidden object, this spark thingy. I forgot what it's called, but it's used to bring them into their world. But then they use the help of this mechanic named Noah Diaz, who coincidentally got inside a car, went inside a car. No, who stole a car that turned out to be an Autobot a new Autobot named Mirage, and working together with a museum curator named Elena. Yeah, they must help the Autobots be able to find the missing pieces in the Allspark or something to be able to bring them home and be able. And meanwhile, Unicron sends a bunch of villains named Scourge, and much others to be able to to be able to get the missing pieces, so that Unicron can destroy the planet. So that's basically. So yeah, so I'm not really the biggest Transformers fan. I mean, I enjoy the franchise. When it's a new Transformers movie, I'd certainly watch it, but it's not really a franchise that I'm obsessed over. And I've been binge watching the Transformers franchise as one of the franchises that I'm currently rewatching leading up to well, I've been watching leading up to this film right here. And just to recap for my thoughts on the previous Transformers films, the first Transformers movie is really overrated. I don't really like it that much. I know there are people. The movie has its fans, but it's just not for me. It's just kind of boring. At least for a Michael Bay movie, there is some effort put into it. Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen is the worst in the franchise, hands down. Dark Knight Moon is alright. I guess it's fine. And then we got two real stinkers from the Mark Wahlberg franchise, Age of Extinction, The Last Night. Among the two movies, I prefer Last Night over Age of Extinction, but they ain't saying much. And of course, we got the masterpiece that is Bumblebee, which I do not understand why people say Bumblebee is overrated. In fact, I think Bumblebee's underrated. It doesn't get enough love as it should get, and it doesn't get enough love. It's the lowest grossing Transformers movies, but I think people say that's because of how bad Last Night is, and people don't want to watch the Transformers movie again, and that kind of makes sense. At least it didn't flop considering the budget is low for that film is low, and yes, but I love Bumblebee so much, especially Haley Steinfeld. I think Haley Steinfeld was the one that reading the franchise because her character arc, Charlie Watson, is pretty much the center of what makes Bumblebee so special, and it makes me just simply fall in love with Bumblebee. So when it comes to Transformers: Rise of the Beast, another the second Transformers movie to not be directed by Michael Bay. I kind of had high expectations for it, although I figured it was gonna top Bumblebee. In fact, yeah, Bumblebee is the true Transformers movie. There is nothing that could top Bumblebee. This movie looked fun, but I guess that's it. Yeah, it just looks fun, but it didn't really look anything special. It just looks like a simple, fun movie that I was hoping it would be great. I think pretty much the biggest green flag going into this is the director. First of all, it's not Michael Bay. Thank goodness for that. And the director of this film is actually Stephen Cable Jr., the same director as Creed 2. Yep, Creed 2. Yeah, and Creed 2 is a masterpiece. I love Creed 2 so much. I really wanted to see what else can he do as a director. And the trailer looked fun. Although the one disappointment I had with the cast is that Charlie Watson isn't returning. It sucks because because of how successful Bumblebee was, Charlie Watson deserves to be in far more Transformers movies, at least supporting character at the very least. This was destined to not be as good as Bumblebee because Bumblebee is just so good. But I mean, let's see what they would do with this movie right here, which pretty much introduces some new Autobots and we also get the introduction of the Maximals, yeah, and the Maximals and some new villains who aren't Decepticons. I don't know if I would say they're Decepticons, but they're more of um Unicron slave. So yeah. And then I saw the reviews, and unfortunately, they were disappointing. In fact, this it has a lower score than the first Transformers movie, the overrated one. And I think the movie should have gotten like a 70% or a 60%. Because, yeah, I didn't care about the reviews. Of course, I went into this movie with a more open mind. And you all know I don't really listen to Rotten Tomatoes. I don't care about what Rotten Tomatoes say. Um, and I'm sure you know what I mean by this, yeah. I went to this movie just wanting to have fun because I never really listened to the critics, yeah. There's like a lot of movies that I love but the critics hate, like I'm still hyped for Indiana Jones 5 despite getting mixed reviews, and this one's kind of the same, so yeah. Um, After seeing Transformers Rise of the Beast, what did I think of this movie? It was good, actually. It was a good movie, but I don't think it was as good as I expected it to be because I expected it to be great. I expected it to be great, but it turns out it was just decent. Like it was fine, I guess. Yeah, it was fine, I guess. I was still thinking. I still really enjoy this movie, and I think it's a bit underrated. I don't think I would say it's underrated, because people are on the same boat as me. Like a lot of people I know are saying it's decent. Yeah, I think Bumblebee is the most. I personally think Bumblebee is the most underrated Transformers movie because of how little love it gets, and I mean not many people give it enough love. But and by the way, underrated overrated should not be determined by a Rotten Tomatoes score. I all movies underrated with got like a 70% Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. But with Transformers Rise of the Beast, I expected a little better as a movie on its own. Yeah, I expected a little better from it, but I will say this: as a Transformers movies, it kind of met my expectations. Yeah, it was exactly like I was expecting. It's not as good as Bumblebee, but it's better than the Michael Bay Transformers movies. But I was expecting it to be better than all of them. It's not better. I mean no, I was expecting it to be like way better, like it's not even close. But I will say it is a tad bit close. It's actually pretty close to the levels of Transformers Dark of the Moon, but it's just better than that film. It's better than that film. Now this movie is definitely flawed. And I personally want to get the flaws out of the way first, before so I can say all the good things about this film. First of all, I think the main problem with the movie is the story. Yeah, I think it is not the story in this movie is not good. Yes, sure. I will say this. I am forgiving to cliche generic stories if they're fun. As fun as this movie is, I would say honestly, it's not really a movie I'd rewatch over and over again. I don't see myself rewatching this movie, and it's not the most fun movie ever. Not one of them, and there's definitely far better guilty pleasure than this one. Like Fast X being a perfect example for that. But this movie, I just couldn't get past how bland this story is. I mean, I couldn't really get past this this blind paper thin story that pretty much just feels so repetitive from other Transformers movies. Yet, um, when I play the story, you could probably tell how generic it is. It's basically just the Transformers characters trying to find this artifact that can bring them home to Cybertron. Like they done in the Michael Bay movies, they've done so many attempts to be able to find this whole thing just to bring it to Unicorn, like this item, like especially with the Michael Bay Transformers movies, the first one. I don't remember if that was the plot in the second one, like Transformers trying to get home to Cybertron. I don't remember if that was what happened in the second film. But to be fair, I don't even remember the plot of that film. The third movie had that same plot, and the fifth movie. As much as I hate Age of Extinction, I will give it credit. At least they didn't use the generic Transformers trying to find an object to get back to Earth. Yeah, some blood thingy, but it was still bad. It's still like probably the worst plot in it. But it has probably the worst writing in the franchise, and I stand by saying that. But this movie, it just started to feel like just so repetitive, and up to the point where it almost feels like it's being written by AI. Yeah, and I mean AI itself, and that definitely says something about how bland it is. It doesn't really do anything new to add to the story or um add to the story or something. And yeah, so what was I gonna say? So that's just basically it. There's nothing new to the story. Um, the first 20 minutes of the movie dragged so much. Yeah, the first 20 minutes of the movie, I was bored to death. Like, basically, I mean, the first 20 minutes, you would expect the first 20 minutes would run by fast, but even just 2 minutes into the beginning scene, I already didn't care what was going on. The first 20, I mean, it was cool in the prologue seeing Optimus Maximal be narrating and seeing like how Unicron is taking over the planet and left behind this some object that they're gonna be looking for throughout this movie. And really cool Optimus Primal versus Scourge battle scene. But when it comes to the human scenes, yeah, I was like I didn't care less. Yeah, basically, basically got young Anthony Ramos character Noah, who was just trying to find a job, but he got rejected by everything because they thought that he wasn't fit enough for the job. Does that remind you of something? Yep, the first Transformers. No, yep, Dark of the Moon. Yep, it's like Dark of the Moon when Sam Witwicky was interviewing for his job, and no one accepted him because he wasn't fit for it. Now I will say this movie didn't drag as much because at least it was only for 20 minutes or like 50 minutes. And in Dark of the Moon they have it for like 1 hour straight up to the point where it just lost me until the action scene. But this movie, I just couldn't really care less about the. I was just so bored. I was like literally just waiting for the first action scene. Like, where's the Autobot? Where's Mirage? Like, where are they? Yeah, but thankfully, the moment no one like got inside the Mirage, and then that police car chase kicked off. That was when the movie picked up. But I will talk about that positive from there later on. There's definitely more to say. Uh, now let's talk about Bumblebee in this movie because oh boy, I'm disappointed by what they did with him. Bumblebee is my favorite Autobot of all time. You already know that he's a lot of people's favorite Autobot, and I mean one of the reasons as to why Bumblebee is my favorite has to do with his own spin-off movie where everything that happened with Bumblebee like really made him like be in love with him and made him the best Autobot. And even like I'm being introduced to the Transformers franchise. Even Bumblebee is always my favorite character because I thought that Bumblebee was the center of it all. Even though I thought it was Optimus when I watched the movie, but Bumblebee's always something because when I thought of Transformers, the first thing that comes to my mind is Bumblebee, and I just love. Yeah, and he's like pretty much the most selling point. Like he's made the most merch out of all the Transformers characters. He's like pretty much had the most successful merch. So it says something. But in this movie right here, they did Bumblebee really dirty. Like, well, I know it's probably even more dirty. That it's even dirtier than in the last night when Bumblebee just got his voice back out of nowhere and Optimus just becomes good just by hearing his voice. That was that was kind of stupid, but this movie here, Bumblebee was barely in it. I mean, he started out pretty good. I mean, I was like, yay, Bumblebee's there. But what did they do with him? They killed him off. Now, now, it's not really a spoiler because they literally showed it in the second trailer. They showed Bumblebee getting stabbed. I was like, no, I don't think he dies from that. But yet, he dies in that scene. He dies in that scene, and he dies, yeah. And I was like, oh come on, he can't die. Yet he comes back alive in the third act, unsurprisingly. You wanna know how he comes back? Nothing. There's no explanation as to why he came back. It's just he's just there. Like like he just jumps off a plane and then just saves everyone just the second that the Transformers the Autobots are about to lose. And that I'm trying to notice that cliche with these comic book movies with character dies and then during the final battle when all the fighters are about to lose, the dead hero comes back to life, steps in and saves everyone. It just happens like too much. They did well in Black Panther, but Black Adam after the point where I was like, yeah, I think it's becoming repetitive, and this movie as well. So they got done Bumblebee better. I didn't really like them. But the worst scene in the movie, the worst part of the movie is the ending. Oh my goodness. What were you thinking, Paramount? Yeah. Who wants to see that setup? Yeah. So I'm not gonna spoil you the ending. It has to be seen to be believed, but I will give a hint without giving away some context. So basically, what happens in the ending is that Noah gets invited to Noah finally gets hired to a new job, and Noah gets hired to a new job where he actually is working with a new team to be able to help the Autobots, fight the stop Scourge. Because yes, spoiler, they weren't able to stop Miracle, and that's the best spoiler I can give this movie. But I will not say the big quote unquote big reveal at the end, but Noah, like the company that Noah is working for, is actually a part of another franchise. Yep, they're in the next one. They're gonna be doing a crossover between Transformers and a franchise, another big franchise that I will not explain to you what it is. And if you get Fast and Furious, no, it's not that. But I will say this, yeah, that end. Like, are you like that felt like a joke? Like you're like they must be joking. Like they must be joking when they came up with the idea. Because first of all, the franchise that they chose to cross over the Transformers is a franchise that no one cares about, no one remembers. Like when they see that, they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot this existed." Even though this franchise had a recent installment this decade, it's something that no one's gonna care. No one cares. No, I'm not even a fan of this franchise. I think um, I don't think it's a bad franchise, but it's I would say it's better than the Michael Bay Transformers movie. This franchise, but it's just not really a franchise I care about. So why would you think that it's a good idea to do that? Yeah, that was beyond unnecessary. But okay, that's all for my flaws. Now let's get into the good stuff in this movie. And while I don't have much to say about when it comes to the positives, I don't have much to say about it, which is why I'm gonna give it a lower score than you expected, which I'll definitely say at the end. I think there's some but there's some great stuff to it. The movie was a lot of fun. Yeah, I think one of the bigger compliments I'll give this movie is that the Autobots got enough screen time without the humans overshadowing them. Thank God for that. I mean, Bumblebee succeeded in balancing the screen time between the humans and the Autobots the human and Autobot, but in that movie, I would if Charlie Watson got more screen time than the Autobots, I would have been like, okay, that's fine because Charlie Watson is a phenomenal character. You can make a movie without her, a coming of age story with her, and just not put it and silent the Autobots, and that would be fine because, I mean, you need to have two. I mean, because you need a good main character if you're fine with that. I mean, take a look at the MonsterVerse, for example. The humans get more screen time than the monsters, and people criticize about that. But when it comes to Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Godzilla versus Kong, the monsters getting less screen time does not matter because I actually care about these about the human characters, especially Millie Bobby Brown, who is by far the best MonsterVerse character, and no competition right there. But no competition right there. But other than that, yeah, I'm sure nothing like that. But in these movies, you got Sam and Kate, who are awful main characters, and them getting more screen time than the Autobots really is bothering if you think about it. But Charlie Watson is a golden character, and she might be my top 15 favorite characters of all time. So that definitely says something. Um, with this movie though, they do balance the humans and all, but the Autobots actually get more screen time than the humans, and it's actually a good thing. And when it comes to the humans, most of them are just sidelined. They only appear for like 1 second, but there's only two main characters who pretty much take center stage in this movie. First of all, being Noah, a great male character, probably my favorite of the male characters. First, I'm actually a huge fan of Anthony Ramos, except although I'm a huge fan of Anthony Ramos, it sucks that he was in my least favorite movie of all time. You know what it is. But he has some great roles as well, like Usnavi from In the Heights, which is his best role in my opinion. And even though I didn't really like that Liam Neeson action movie he was in, I forgot what it's called, but I don't even remember the title because the movie is just forgettable. The Liam Neeson movie that Anthony Ramos was in, he was actually the best part of that movie because he actually had character. I actually cared about him, and then it's just filled with bland, boring characters, and the movie is so forgettable that I don't even remember the name of it. But it's a 2020 movie if you're wondering, like during the pandemic, and I actually saw it in theaters. Yeah, one of the most forgettable and regrettable theatrical experience I had. But yeah, Noah in this movie is a great character. I actually cared about him. I cared about, and I actually kind of was. I actually care about him. I don't have much to say about him, but I cared about him, and he is a badass. I will say that. And um, he's a great character. Elena was okay. I guess I don't know much to say about her, but she's good. Nothing else about that. Nothing else to say about her, but yeah. Um, the Autobots and Maximals were great as a movie, with the exception of Bumblebee. Didn't like what they did with him, but you got those people like Optimus, like who is still as great as he usually is, and Peter Cullen is an irreplaceable voice actor for Optimus Prime. There's this new animated Transformers movie called Transformers One coming in 2024, and Peter Cullen is not playing Optimus Prime. Instead, they chose Chris Hemsworth as him. And not gonna lie, I'm a little bit skeptical about that because I don't see Chris Hemsworth on this. I don't see Chris Hemsworth on Optimus Prime, but that's not prime. That's not a topic for another day. But what else can I say? Oh yeah. But and even the new Autobots are great too, like Akri, who is the standard of the Autobots in this movie, and Mirage, who is actually a pretty funny and charming character, and Pete Davidson gave such a great voice for him. But honestly, I might actually prefer the Maximals over the Autobots in this movie. Yeah, Akri was the best of the robot characters, but the Maximals were better. Like Optimus Primal, Ares Zelda, whatever you call him, like Optimus Primo, Arizor, whatever you call him, like, and some others, they were great. Yeah, I love Optimus Primo. Like, honestly, fun fact: when I saw a trailer for this movie, I thought Optimus Primo was gonna be the villain. Like, but I was wrong. Yeah, but I was wrong. It was actually Scourge. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'll get them. Yeah, out of the Maximals, the star of this movie is uh, Arizor, yeah. And Michelle Yeoh voices here. I gotta say, Michelle Yeoh probably gave the best performance in this movie. I loved her voice work in this movie, and and her voice was actually recognizable. Um, and then there's the villain Scourge, played voiced by Peter Dinklage, who is actually a top tier villain in this movie. He's just he feels like he's such a real threat, especially when he sent those tiny micro armies thingy, and they're pretty scary. Like every time they would appear as a jump scare, and it's actually really good. And yeah, the movie bit besides the first 20 minutes, the movie didn't really bore me on much. People say the second act in Peru, like when they were going on an adventure to find this thing, was boring. But to be honest, guys, I was never bored at all. I was actually kind of enjoying the second act. I enjoyed the old Indiana Jones vibe thing in Peru, and I just really enjoyed seeing them. Like, and it was not boring. But hands down, the best thing about this film to me is is the action scenes. Wow, this movie features the best action in the franchise. Now thinking about it, I still think that the opening, oh wait, no, the opening scene in Bumblebee is the best action scene in the franchise, but this movie has the best amount of action. Like, it actually has a lot of action in this. It actually has a lot of action in this movie. Now, yeah, I also prefer the final battle over this movie's final battle, but it was great as well. Like, you know the car chase scene, the middle fight scene, the prolonged fight scene, and of course that insane final battle. Yeah, it was like that almost gave me kind of Ready Player One vibes. Yeah, it was such an epic final battle. It was just really good, and I really dug it. And my favorite scene in this movie was when Miraja gave Noah some of his parts, and when pretty much Noah, no, yeah, Mirage's body parts went inside Noah, and it turns to a suit, and then Noah becomes, yep, Iron Man 2.0. Yep, Iron Man is in this movie. How cool is that? And even his moves are like Iron Man. Yeah. Yeah, I could imagine Anthony Ramos playing Iron Man, and he's actually going to be an Ironheart, which is kind of cool to say that. So yeah, I know that people will say that he's a better Iron Man than Ironheart. I don't agree with that, but he's a great as an Iron Man replica. Yeah. CGI is great as well. The CGI is really good. Not a single bad. There's no bad CGI to be found here, and there's no shaky cam. Thank God. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't put Michael Bay involved in your movie. You actually have a well shot action without using shaky cam. So yeah. Um. I guess nothing else. So overall, Transformers: Rise of the Beast is a decent fun time at the movies. While it's not a great movie due to having a weak and repetitive story and the ending, the questionable, dumb ending, which honestly might be the worst ending in a Transformers movie. I'm not serious yet. Yeah, I'm serious. Even the last night's ending with when that's revealed to still be alive and showing Gemma Chan's real face is better than this ending. So even with that, when yeah, even with a couple of flaws, Transformers: Rise of the Beast is such a great movie that does feel like a proper Transformers movie. That features just such fun action scenes. Although it's nothing really special, it's no Bumblebee. But I would say this is my second favorite Transformers movie, second one behind Bumblebee. So yeah, with that said, I'm gonna give Transformers: Rise of the Beast a 7 out of 10. I personally don't mind this movie getting on score because it's not great, but it doesn't deserve it in my opinion. So for my review of Transformers Rise of the Beasts, what is your opinion of this movie? Do you agree with me that this movie is decent? Do you not care about this movie? Or were you let down by this movie or not a fan? Or do you, is this your favorite Transformers movie? Because I hear like 20% of people say that this is the best Transformers movie, and honestly, I don't understand it. It's not that movie, but if it's your favorite Transformers movie, then cool. I can kind of see it at the same time. So yes, stay tuned for my ranking of all Transformers movies and my rant on Supergirl 1984. I'm going to do a bunch of reviews leading up to The Flash. I'll explain more in that review, but yeah. Bye guys.